Happy Valentine's Day, whatever that means. I'm grateful to be here with all of you here today. We began something new here at 1 Million Cups, and that is a small moment of an act of art, so a random act of art. So the idea is this. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it crazy that people will determine that one day has more power than another? As if one day actually contains more compassion and love than any other. Isn't it interesting how individuals will acknowledge and appreciate certain people while completely disregarding and ignoring others because they look nothing like them, they live nothing like them, and they have no way to connect to them? You see, most don't think these type of things. Would rather sit back and hide behind screens, hoping for likes and comments to boost their self-esteem, provide this false sense of satisfaction. It had me sitting back the other day thinking what happened to the true compassion that dwells within each human being. You see, it seems the vast majority are just simply running around chasing their tails, hoping to prevail, hoping to stumble into wealth, stumble into health, happiness, and abundance, thinking, who cares what we take from them as long as they take nothing from us? So as I was reflecting on these various things, entrepreneurialism, business, employees, you see, I work with organizations focused around topics like diversity and inclusion, mindfulness in generations, but I also work with the general public, hoping to reawaken each individual to their magnificence. Since I moved here to North Dakota, there's been a few things that I've seen. Of course, many like the business people in this room who are out there chasing their dreams, but I've also witnessed the extremes. Walls being built, separating certain individuals. People spending more time creating barriers of separation than creating bridges of connection. So on this day of Valentine's, it's not just about flowers and gifts and chocolates, though if you do have a wife or a girlfriend, I would highly recommend you get her something, just for the record. But more importantly, the question becomes, how can we begin moving with compassion from this moment going forward? First and foremost, if you are not doing what you feel that you are here to do, there is no better time than now to begin it. The present moment is the greatest gift we have. We might as well live it. Too often, people put off their dreams for years and years and years, getting older and older, and suddenly those dreams disappear. So if you are working at a place that you do not like, my question to you is, why are you wasting your time? And if you have yet to find what your passion is, or you're moving toward your dreams, please don't give up. I know where the Creator placed mine. And I would dare to say yours is in the same place. We just need to take some time to go within. So as we think about these days, these weeks, these months, these years, there's one thing today I hope that I can get clear. And that is, this earth that we are all standing upon is sacred. The people who live just down the road on those reservations are sacred. The homeless person that you will see today when you walk out of this building is sacred. Your coworkers, even if they are difficult to be around, are sacred. And you, my friends, in this room, you too are sacred. No one human being is more greater or superior than another. At the depths of it all, we are sisters and brothers. So if you have built these walls, these barriers of separation, or moving with these unconscious beliefs, I challenge you to take some time, go within, and ask them to cease. Because the change will not happen until you become the change. The world cannot transform until all of us transform. And once we begin to do this, compassion is born. Thank you.
Keep it going for Jeffon, guys. Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Now, real quick about Jeffon. Jeffon was a previous 1 Million Cups presenter. You've been on this stage talking to us about, believe this or not, motivational speaking. Right? You never would have guessed. Tell us, just give us a quick blurb about yourself, what you're up to, your business, and personal life.
Yeah, so I work with a variety of different organizations, academic institutions, government agencies, and businesses focused around ideas like diversity and inclusion. What does that actually mean? Mindfulness, helping to increase productivity and performance and teamwork, obviously, within organizations, and generations, helping people build bridges across differences where people think that maybe we may be separate, actually bridging people together. And then here around the Bismarck area, doing a lot on meditation with the general public and working on my yoga skills.
So if people want to find out more about both your art side and your business side, where can they go to find that out?
You can go to 3Key Life, or I think I'm the only Jafon Seeley in the world if you know how to spell it.
All right, thanks, man. Great job.
Appreciate it.
How many of you have liked our new edition of the Random Act of Art at the beginning of 1 Million Cups? For me, I love it. I love it. All right, so first and foremost, I'm Justin. I work over at CoSchedule, one of the founders there. Thank you guys so much for being here today. They routinely trust the stage to me as an MC, which is really humbling. Thank you, Janelle, for continuing to force me to get up here and do this. It's always a real big blast whenever it happens, so I'm excited. First and foremost, we do have a mobile app for 1 Million Cups. We want to encourage you guys to download this on your mobile device. Check in. This is huge. It tells the Kauffman Foundation just how popular our 1 Million Cups is here in Bismarck. It also helps you stay connected with the upcoming speakers and past speakers. So it's a really good way to get plugged in. We want to thank our sponsors. There are a lot of organizations and individuals behind 1 Million Cups. You know, we walk in and it seems all put together, and it takes a lot of different people and a lot of different organizations to step up to make that happen. So the logos on the slides behind me are just some of the organizations that over the last 5 years that we've been around have really stepped up in big ways, whether through donations or finances or just time, to make sure that this can continue to happen in our own community. So if you've never been to 1 Million Cups, you've never heard me say this, so I'll let you know what we're doing here. 1 Million Cups is a free weekly program that gives local entrepreneurs and startups a stage to stand on, to tell their story of innovation and creativity and hardship and overcoming those things. It's this idea that can we change the face of our community through 1 million cups of coffee? So there's, over 100 people here, so I imagine we're denting that 1 million cups every time we meet here on Wednesday morning. So we're glad you're here. We're excited for what's happening in Bismarck. If you've got a mobile phone, then you've probably got Twitter on it, and you can use hashtag 1MCND on any of those tweets. So if you take a picture or you've got a question for our speaker, you can use that hashtag to let us know. Ashton, who's on her laptop over here, will actually ask the question for you. So if you're a little shy on the mic and you don't want to get on the microphone and ask your question, she'll do it for you. A really good way to go. So we're going to take a minute and talk about Start Bismarck. How many of you have never heard of Start Bismarck? Is it maybe a couple? Okay, we've got. How many of you have never been to 1 Million Cups? Hey, everybody give it up for them for coming today. So this is really important for the new folks here today. If you've not heard of Start Bismarck or you're not on the newsletter that announces events like 1 Million Cups, you really need to be. It's really mobile friendly. That website is great. You can go to startbismarck.com on your phones right now. And right on the website, you can drop your email address in. What that's going to do is it's going to get you on the list that we send out to once a week with all of the upcoming events that happen in our community. So there is things for artists, there's things for programmers, there's things for entrepreneurs and students. There's all kinds of different activities and events that you can start coming to in our own community you might not know were happening. And so Start Bismarck is all about organizing those efforts and encouraging groups to get started. We talk about things like Make Well. Ashton's got an awesome event that happens more and more and more now, and they just had a really successful event that we'll probably get an update on a little later. So first we want to talk about our last startup drinks we just had. Who was at Startup Drinks? Awesome. Thanks you guys for coming. Do we have a count, even rough estimate? It was like over 200 people at a Startup Drinks in Bismarck. If you would have told me that a year ago, I'd have thought you were lying. I didn't see it. And Janelle did, and the team around Start Bismarck did, and they've made it happen. So first and foremost, give it up for the team at Start Bismarck that does all this work to make it all happen. The governor was there. He spoke for a moment about the importance of entrepreneurship in our startup communities. It was an amazing event with good food, good drink, and really good people. So we want to bring Tana up from Proximal 50 to get a quick update of what she thought of the event and also hear about Proximal 50.
Good morning. Good morning. I first want to say thank you so much to anyone that did come. It was a really great opportunity that Janelle gave us, and we were so happy to host that event. It instantly made all the work and vulnerability go away and make it feel all worth it. And so we're really excited to get downtown. We're really excited to become more and more involved with what's happening here. And that kind of starts by welcoming you guys all back in when we actually have everything set up, and it'll be more legit. On the 27th, from 11 to 6, it's an open house, and it's kind of geared towards the small town business person, and we really want people to get kind of a quiet first peek at what's about to come into the neighborhood, and it's kind of our, meeting the neighbors, getting to know everybody on a more one-on-one basis. And so we're really excited to do that, and then we'll officially be open on the 1st. So make sure you try to stop by that day from 11 to 6 anytime. There's going to be prizes, giveaways, all of that. And it's just our kickoff to really get involved. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And I have to say, the facility is amazing. And so if you miss Startup Drinks, you definitely want to be at the open house. If you guys have announcements right now, community announcements and event announcements for Start Bismarck, come on up to the stage. We're going to give you an opportunity to plug those right now. When I was in Proximal 50's place, the sense that I had, because they have a bit of an Olympic lifting area, and with the Olympics happening right now, it's all I could think about when I was in this place, and I just kept picturing Shaun White, doing squats and bench press and stuff in this really crazy. It's remarkable. I mean, if you're into fitness or want to get started in it, I do highly recommend talking to Tana about it. It's really a cool place. Gustavo, hit us with what's going on.
Hey, hello. Hi, my name is Gustavo, and I just want to quickly remind you about Code Connect. We have a great speaker coming up on the 22nd.
Really? Who's that?
He might look familiar. I don't know. He kind of looks like a great guy. But no, in all reality...
Who do you work for, and what are you trying to do here?
I'm just... never mind. I'm not going to go there. No, but the 22nd, we're going to have a really good event here at Dakota Stage. So Justin's going to be our speaker. He's going to tell us some really good practical advice on how to become a better coder, engineer. If you're at any point in your coding career, if you're even interested, I think you should come to this because he's going to give us some really good points on how to get better at it. So, come join us, Dakota Stage on the 22nd. Invite your IT folks or your cousin that wants to learn how to program games. Whoever wants to join at any experience level, they should come. So, and there'll be free food and drinks, and it's all free. So you should definitely check it out.
Awesome. Ashton's next, I think.
All right, everyone. So I'm Ashton, the founder of Makewell, and as Justin mentioned, we had our event on Saturday. And I just want to give a huge thank you because I know we have speakers and sponsors and attendees in the room. So thank you so much for making it what it is, because without the community, it wouldn't even exist. And so I just have a couple of highlights of the day. For our event this year, we really wanted to make it a full-day experience because we have a third of our attendees coming from around the state. That are outside of Bismarck-Mandan area. So we had yoga that you just saw. We have workshops. We had a meetup at Capitol Gallery. There's Ben. He talked last week here. We also did a maker preamble as a chalkboard mural. So everybody saw that as they came in, and we all got to collaborate and sign that. We do a lot of very custom swag, so our very own designer made this one. We have a lot of vendors from the community that come in. We had Noodle Zip, Cater, and Buffalo Commons for our brew. And then something I'm really excited about, we had both Sam Coleman and Brenda Molinaro do a live piece from start to finish throughout the duration of our event. And so then we did a silent auction of those. We have 3 speakers. Our first was Hannah Haynes. I don't know if she's in the room, but whoop, in the back. And then we do breakout groups, which is something that our attendees really love. It's a 7-person group that gets to talk about the questions that the speakers present and apply it to their own businesses and their own passions. We have Jordan Loftus from CoSchedule speaking right there. I think he did great. And then we have Keenan up in front here talking as well. And then the other thing we like to do, we like to have makers do performances, kind of like Jeff did here. So we had a hula hoop artist who had LED hula hoop for us. It was pretty cool. And then we had a local band called Sunny Waters perform. And it was just amazing. They do such a good job. And so I just want to thank our team to close it out. We've been doing this for a year now, and it's just been so exciting, and we're just excited about the future.
The last thing I'll say about Makewell is, I run into and bump into a lot of people who attend these Makewell events, and they've gone to one or more of these different things. But the consistent thing I hear is the quality of the event can't be beat. The attention to detail that the team puts into it, the quality of the speakers, the preparation, the heart that they put into this is unbelievable. So if you haven't made it, it is not an event, it is an experience, and you really, really need to check it out. So Makewell, what's the website address? wearemakewell.com. So check that out. All right, now we're going to introduce our speaker for today. This is the second time that Plains Mobile Incorporated has been on the 1 Million Cup stage, but it is the first time for Todd Nagel. Todd grew up on a farm in Strasburg, North Dakota. He graduated from the University of Mary with degrees in marketing, business administration, and sports and leisure management. 10 months ago, Todd became a partner with John Richter at Plains Mobile, which is a software development company in Linton. Please help me welcome Todd to the stage.
Hi, guys. It's great to be here. I just want to start off with thanking everybody from these groups like 1 Million Cups and Start Bismarck. It really has changed the way Bismarck is perceived. And I'm going to start off with a story just to really drill that home, because it really has changed. And I'm kind of living proof. So, all right. So after college, I moved away to find myself, all that fun stuff. So I found myself in the UP, Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And it was a great experience. I worked in the finance world. I did in the banking world. I did member services and budgeting, things like that. And it was a great experience. And it taught me a lot about the different cultures, the different foods, all the different economy. That's one of the biggest things, the different economy. You know, not everybody has a car that they drive to work. And I know that kind of sounds far-fetched, but it's true. And I think the biggest thing I took from there is everybody still thinks there that to be successful, you got to move away. Where North Dakota, that's kind of how it used to be. But now, once I moved away, I couldn't wait to get back. And isn't that kind of what all this Start Bismarck stuff is about? So I guess I'm kind of the living proof of that. So let's just all give them a hand. They know this is coming around. So every time I came back, there was a new restaurant. Every time. I mean, it was something new. It was always cool. I could never keep up. And when I did come back, I mean, it took me forever. Let's go downtown and go to a different restaurant every week. And it's awesome. It took forever. So what actually brought me back here? But what really brought me back here, one day I got a call from this guy. And I knew him. And what I knew about him is that he was really well respected in the software industry. He'd been working in it since software was around. Back when Burgum started his company with Great Plains, he worked there for 10 years at the beginning of it. And one of his greatest accomplishments that he did there was he invented this thing called eConnect. It's still used today. So Microsoft Dynamics, GP, they bought Great Plains, the software he worked for. They still use that platform to integrate data in through external sources today. And that's 26 years ago. So, that's one of his biggest accomplishments. Microsoft bought Great Plains, went there for 10 more years, worked there, and then he kind of formulated this idea through all his work, because he would travel around the country and he would solve problems for software and business applications, and he was doing it at a time when there wasn't manuals and stuff. He was the one writing these manuals. So, came up with this idea, called me up, said, Todd, I got this new company. I want you to go home and try it out. I went to school for business. I didn't do technology, so I was like, I better tell him this so he knows. So I tell him that, and he's like, that's okay. I did the coding and the programming so that people like you can develop software applications. So all I'll be doing is meeting with companies, finding out their business processes, coming back and building software with his tool. So just to kind of explain this, most software is developed like this on the left here. And a lot of people that actually use the software, it doesn't have to be a business person. It can be a farmer. It can be anybody that uses the software and sees how it actually works in their application. So it was kind of, he just wanted to develop a product that bridged that gap. And so people like that on the left could do things like this person on the right could do things like person on the left here. And now looking at that, I kind of almost look like the guy on the left more than the guy on the right. Worked that out in my own personal time, but hopefully I'm not becoming a nerd. But yeah, his goal was to bridge the gap so that these people could create the software and they wouldn't have to relay the information and it'd take forever to get there and write the code, because you know how, I mean, even if you don't, you can imagine how hard and complex it is to change these things. So some of you guys might understand this, but if you don't, I'm just going to give you a quick overview just to understand the difference between a platform and software. So most people think of it as it's computer stuff. But think of a PaaS as like a factory. So like a factory makes a car. The thing that you use, the SaaS, the end user, your games, your Facebooks, your things like that, those are what the end user does. And think of the PaaS as like a factory to make this. So it all comes down to how well is that factory put together, what can we take from that factory, and how can we utilize it to create software that's going to be beneficial. So this on the left right here is just a lot to take in. You're working with code, and just think about if a company they have this platform, they call you, and they want to make a change. You got to dig through this code, you got to work with it, and it's not something I could do. So John created this platform that looks something like this. This is the same file flipped, looking at it through code, and this is what I get to do and use and utilize to make business applications. So you can see when we take out months to develop a same application, I can do something like that with my limited technological skills in a couple of days compared to a programmer doing it in months. So that's the gap he wanted to bridge, and he wanted to be able to make these applications fast, and he wanted to make them custom, and he didn't want to have a template. He wanted to make one every time for every different company so that it was a true fit. So, all right, we got all this information. How am I going to do this, John? So I understand business. That's what I can do. Business applications, that's kind of my forte. So we can have people that go and meet and learn these business applications, get all this information, come back, and use these tiny little building blocks like Legos. Think of it a lot like Legos. So instead of making these individual pieces and then going and putting them together, you just get to go and use John's little Lego pieces to make your application. I think that's pretty cool. So then when we do this, it not only allows us to come and get your best fit application to your company, it allows us to be dynamic enough to give you this software for right now, work on it, change it, evolve it as you change and evolve with the business, because it's a lot easier to take a Lego piece and change it than to have to restructure the whole line of code. So that's kind of the idea behind it, and it works. It's crazy. I'm developing business solutions for businesses, and I know how to code a little bit, but it's not like I would be able to do it. So don't get caught up on just this is what we can do, but I just kind of wanted to throw this up here to give you an idea of what are some of the areas that we can follow. And this is kind of one of our pain points too, or at least it is for me. His platform is so dynamic. It can literally do whatever we want it to do. It can do integrations, it can do basic time entry, it can do the basic stuff. But it can also do all these other things and things that aren't even listed up here. So that's kind of been one of the things we've been going through as a company. There's a lot of shiny objects, and you kind of want to deal with them all and, look at this. But that's been one of the growing pains, is focusing on things and not just trying to do everything at once. Because we do want to offer a comprehensive all-in-one platform, which we are getting close to doing, but the way we're developing it is we get a new customer, they have needs, they have requirements, we go through and we fill those, and now we have that template to use for the next one, which we can steal ideas from. So it's kind of a building block type of thing, and the more that we build this idea, the more dynamic our platform can be. So right now, some of the things that we're focusing on, some of the niche markets, if you will, Partnerships are huge because we develop ours platform is considered as a database if you want, but we can integrate with other platforms. So if other software development companies, partnerships are a great opportunity for us right now for the referral side of things. And then when I was talking about the developed custom software, like the templated thing, some companies that works for, yeah. But overall, when you have a unique situation, you need something developed to streamline your operation. And I know we've all used software where you're going through and you're filling out a form and you fill out one of the 17 fields and it just wastes time. And that's the type of thing we're eliminating. Another thing is integrations. So John, he develops software, but one thing that he's really great at is he's like the king of integrations. He can make data talk to each other. He can streamline it. And I know some of you guys have heard of some of the integrations up there, but the key here is if you have existing systems that you're using, you don't have to start all over. We can utilize your current operations, define them, structure the code so it all links together and talks together, and we can add it to our new system and add new capabilities and features without affecting anything from the past. That's kind of another cool thing. So I couldn't just go through this without giving you a little example of what this can actually do. So think of an example like this. A lot of time entry software is out there, right? It's everywhere. But think about it the next step further. So if you want to have time entry and you want to allocate each one of those hours down to a specific project or specific location or basically whatever you guys want to do. So if you have people working with federal grants versus state grants, you want to separate the time that they've worked between those two, you can allocate it as you're entering the time. So minimal data entry. And then all that entered data comes down and we can do graphs and we can do charts, and we can do analysis. So you can see, like, okay, so we have a project. You want to see all the billable hours for each employee. You can break it down, and these are all dynamic, and John just gets an idea, and he'll go build a new graph one day, So we're always adding new things, and the data analysis behind this has such power that we can make it do basically whatever you want. And just to give you an example, we've built some applications with John's software for farming, and that's how dynamic it is. So when a farmer has all his different inputs from the crop throughout the year, he allocates it by field. There's literally thousands and thousands of lines of data that go into each production value. At the end of the year, he can get a report for field, for inputs, what made him money, what didn't make him money. So insight into data is what the correct fit for a software application really provides the end user. All right, so we're a pretty new company, but John's been formulating his ideas for a really long time. And when you're around him, you can just kind of see that. So what are some of the things we want to do moving forward? Wouldn't it be cool if instead of changing it from a few days developing a software, using his unique system to be able to set a laptop there and tell it to create a time entry workflow with allocations to project this and that, and it goes and develops the software for you right in front as you talk to the machine. Next step, we could have a laptop in a meeting. Well, we have a 3-hour meeting with a business that we've never dealt with them before, and we can set the laptop and it can pick up keywords and develop a system with minimal tweaking right in front of you just by having the conversation and listening to the business needs and business dynamics. And the way John set up his system, he has capabilities to do this. He uses things like key relations and links and things like that. So it's set up with the features to be able to allow it to do this in the future. So take that a step further. We wouldn't even need people like me. We could have the end user developing platforms by just simply talking to a computer.
Great job, Todd. We're going to grab a seat here for Q&A. All right, mic runner today is Peter. So how this works, we're going to go into a time where we just get to challenge Todd, talk about Plains Mobile's success, what's the challenges going forward for them. If you've got curiosities about how they did any part of the business or how they're doing sales or marketing or product development, they're all things that we want to bring out in this Q&A session. So with that, just grab Peter's attention, raise your hand, wave at him, throw a coffee cup at him. I mean, be nice, but get his attention, and he'll come on over, give you the mic, and that's the best way that we can make sure that the questions get heard on our live stream as well. So, Evan, first question, go for it.
Scalability question. What is your current product mix? Do you have anything off the shelf currently that like a farmer could buy and use as is, or are you still having to do a little tweaks for each individual customer right now?
Well, a little bit of both. We could, so we have this, if we have a template set up for a farm, we can use ideas and keys and little Lego pieces that we built for that, but no two operations run the same. So we can do this very quickly, but we wouldn't want to just take a pre-applied software from one farm to another. We'd have to make some tweaks, but we could do that in a matter of hours. So yeah, it's a little bit of both.
Is it a sort of tell me about the business model side of it. Are these one-time sort of projects, and then you hand that project over to the client, and they're in charge of dealing with the technology side of it, or are you guys dealing with that for them, and it become more of a subscription revenue stream for you? Kind of talk to me about how the dynamics of billing work and that type of thing.
There's the option for both. We have the option to do like an enterprise, is what we call it, where you can have full source code, like you can use our platform to develop it on your own. But from what we're doing right now is we like to get the software in place, and we continually work with them because, no matter how good you think, even if the person designing the software is the person using it, you're going to design it and you're going to think, okay, I should have done this differently. So there's a continuous engagement that we keep with the clients so that we don't just turn it off and say, here are the reins, go with it. We continue to work with them and add features and add charts, when things come about. So yeah, it's more of a continuous model, but as we progress, it works. There's a lot less contact, So it just kind of dwindles off a little bit, but right away we stay with them, and when the new features, we're right there.
What's the competition like for this business? I mean, I know there are other business like ERPs and other kind of platforms that can be built in a similar way. Yep. But is there anything quite as custom in the region that there's other companies you guys compete directly with?
I don't believe, as far as when it comes down to cost and time of deployment, I don't believe there is. There's bigger companies doing this. You have your Microsofts and IBMs, and it's kind of the push if you look into the market right now, because they're understanding the dynamics of this custom fit software compared to like off-the-shelf solutions, and how much more in-depth analysis and how much time it really saves you. So there are companies that are doing it, and John, we are aware of that, but the way that John built his platform and the capabilities of scaling that it has, is we feel like there's definitely a lot of niche market in it, and there's definitely, and around the area, there's not a lot of people doing it. It's new. Mm-hmm.
Peter's got a question.
Yeah. You mentioned agriculture and some other industries that you work with. Wow, give me a spotlight. What does your typical customer look like, and what are the solutions that you are typically providing to them?
Okay, so I'll just give you an example. We have one company that does, and they're out of Boston. They do advanced project management. So they have commercial real estate, and they have all these huge downtown facilities, so they use our tracking system to allocate employee hours to different projects so that they can create invoices and things at the end of the month to send out and allocate every hour down, so there's no overlapping, there's no, so the invoices are clear, they're automated, they're streamlined. Other than that, we can do integrations, we can do time entry, and it kind of depends on the client and where we walk into them. If they're a smaller company, they don't need all this, with startups, they don't need all the advanced detailed analysis. They just need things to keep their stuff in order and organize the business that they have right now. So the scope of what we can offer is very different. Even for a farm to another farm, some people are more focused on agriculture, some are feedlot oriented. So the overlap is there with the basic ones, like your accounts and contacts and everything to keep everything organized. But after that, it kind of just goes down to the business.
I'm kind of curious about the name Plains Mobile. Is that a name that you guys have ever considered changing? It doesn't seem like you're really doing a lot of the mobile like development side of it. You're doing more desktop and web development.
The mobile side of it was John wanted it to be like to come across that we're completely cloud-based. And it's accessible from phones, anywhere, any device. So that was his idea behind the mobile. And when the Great Plains software, he worked there for so long, I don't know if he just wanted the relation or to carry it over with the Plains Mobile. But yeah, I know some people say you sound like a phone company, but it's the mobile is we're accessible anywhere. We're all 100% cloud-based.
Janya, got a question.
I'm curious about your growth plans. Where do you to see the business in the next 5 years, and what are some of your strategies for getting there?
Okay, so yeah, in 5 years, we'd like to be able to offer a complete, comprehensive, cloud-based solution for businesses with any type of industry, any type of vertical, any type of niche. And we feel like we can do that by slowly working with companies, getting ideas, solving their problems, solving more problems, and as we compile it, and I think in 5 years, I think we'll have such a large pool of these little Lego pieces, as you call it, that the bigger the Lego piece collection, the bigger our opportunity. So it's kind of just building it up in chunks and attacking verticals, and then as we bring that together, we have a more of a comprehensive solution.
Is Linton going to be headquarters forever, you think?
I mean, John is all about bringing like he wants to revitalize that community. So I think even if we did open up a Bismarck office, I think he's always going to have it in Linton just to keep people down there and to bring people there. I mean, I'm the youngest one. We have Hannah and Cassie, and if you guys want to stand up and see my teammates.
There they are.
I think, so that's three people, right? I mean, he's doing it, and he's bringing these younger people into these small towns, and he's bringing them back to North Dakota, and I think that's really important to him.
So what was the sales pitch John used officially? Because, I mean, you come from the Upper Peninsula to, Linton.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out that's pretty unusual.
Yeah,
I don't know if you knew that.
Right.
But tell us about that transition and what it took in terms of like your evaluating the risk involved in that and how you worked through it.
Okay, so part of that is my job out in Michigan. I mean, it was with the economy there and everything going on and how different it was. My advancement opportunity was kind of tapped out there, so that was part of it. And another thing is I've never gone to school for technology, but I've always just been like super intrigued by it. And I can see how, I love how it makes lives easier. Even my dad, he was outside hauling, straw bales with a pitchfork and stuff. And I turn and I push auto steer and I watch monitors. It's how far it's come. And one more story to emphasize that. It's always been known, my grandpa, what he always said, one year the best I ever did was 27 bushels an acre for his wheat crop. And now we average 65, and that was 25 years ago. So it's just like things like that. Like I always was intrigued by technology, and this was kind of a way to get into it and not have to fully be into it because I had John's platform to kind of integrate me. So
watch out for becoming a nerd, though. That's
I know
slippery slope.
It's happening. It's
very
happening.
slippery. You really can't climb back up that one.
I know.
All right, Ashton, you got a question.
Yeah, we have one from Twitter. It says, "Are you coming to Code Connect?"
I should try to come to Code Connect. I'm still kind of nervous because I don't know. I mean, like I said, I know minimal about code, but Gustavo is going to get me there yet.
That's perfect. All right, so keep the questions coming. On a lighter note, when did you start attending 1 Million Cups? When did you start experiencing this part of Bismarck?
Well, when I moved back 10 months ago, I was just excited about how this whole movement was started. And I started with Start Bismarck, and I kind of did it right away to just network a little bit for the company. And I started coming to these, and that was just, I just kind of got a motivation for it. I just really like to see how my mind changed from Bismarck being you got to run away from North Dakota to this is where I want to be. So I kind of just wanted to be part of that.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Isn't that a success story, you guys, for Start Bismarck, but also for Bismarck in general? All right, Gustavo, are you going to ask him about Code Connect again?
Yeah, I was just going to say you should all come to Code Connect.
I'll talk to the
It's going to
team.
be great.
I'll talk to the team.
But on a actual question, how do integrations play a part on the success of your platform? Because I work for a software company that's kind of the key things too. Like integrations are huge. And do you do it for one person, and do you like use that as a template for offering it to other people, or how do you manage integrations?
Yeah,
like,
integrations
between
they're like the hidden key to this whole thing, because you have all these past programs in place and you have all this money invested in your technology. This stuff is not cheap. So if you have this X amount invested in the past and you're going to invest X amount in the future, you want those two systems to relate and streamline. And you want that opportunity for the next step, because we all know it's coming. So you want a system that can streamline data from historical to the potential of the future. So when we talk about the integrations, I don't understand them as well as the developing of the platform, but what I know is that when John has one complete, then it's complete, and he has that access to the connection of the API. So from what I understand is they're more of, I mean, you might have to tweak them for a different company. So let's say you're pulling from Amazon to X company and B company. They might have to be a little bit different on their end, but I think once you have that integration in place, then the data can streamline.
All right, question, go ahead.
You mentioned a client in Boston, and every week we hear people like you, not necessarily from Linton, and forgive me, I'm new to Bismarck, I have no clue where Linton is. But we hear people like you who have small companies that they just started, they have 10 employees, I don't know how many you have, or who've come back here because their girlfriend was from here or whatever. Last week we heard from a company named Brick and a company named Serial, who are, again, like you, seeking customers all over the country. And I'm wondering, what does a company like yours do on an everyday basis to get customers around the country who are not going to Google Linton software?
Right.
What do you do on an everyday basis to build a nationwide customer base?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because it's also one of the biggest struggles. You know, it's a very hard to overcome, and so referrals are huge. So when like a company like, just take commercial real estate, they use our platform and it works for them. They're one office out of 50 offices throughout the United States. So if it works for them, maybe they'll talk and they'll explain it. So it's kind of like a web of referrals right now. And with how few people we have, I mean, me, Hannah, and Cassie, we do a little bit of everything all the time. So it's not like one person can focus on sales, one person can focus, we help each other with everything. It's just like a collaborative work environment. So yeah, that's a great question, because it's not easy. But we feel that if we develop a platform that's strong enough and it works, word of mouth will help that travel. And there is marketing through like internet and email marketing and stuff like that we are dabbling with. But overall, yeah, that's been a struggle. So that's a great question. But referrals they go a long way.
All right, Peter, we're going to ask our last question. You want to do the honors?
Sure. So what can we do as the 1 Million Cups community and the Bismarck Mandan community to help support your guys' organization?
Right. Well, I mean, everybody uses software in every business. So if you guys have an idea or know of anybody who needs some kind of software, tell them about us. Just just referral, like I just said, basically, because we're confident that if we get to a business and we apply our application, that there's not going to be negative feedback. So basically, tell her if you hear of any software needs, if you understand, anybody that has a desire or need for it, just referral, I guess.
All right, guys, give it up for Todd.
Thanks.
Just hang out. Awesome. What a great 1 million cups this morning. I hope you guys feel challenged and inspired in your own ways, that you take something away from this event, use it throughout the rest of your week. We do have our speaker lined up for next week already. Betty from You Code Girl will be on stage telling her story. I've had the honor of hearing Betty speak. She speaks with incredible passion about technology, about inspiring people to learn new technologies, and is just a success story in her own right in the state of North Dakota. So if you guys can make it back next Wednesday, drag somebody with, because Betty's going to bring it down for us. So, Todd, thanks again. Excellent job. Safe travels back to Linton. Thanks, guys.